Look at that. Look at that, Wes. We made it 6 p.m. on time, just under the wire, just before the clock turned 6:01. How you doing, Wes?
Doing great, man. On time as always.
As always,
right?
As always. And we certainly didn't rush to start because John Savino claimed that he would tip $200 if we started on time. Certainly didn't see that in rush.
Nothing to do with that at all.
No, we're also not holding you to that, man. Like we're just being silly. But I thought it'd be funny to make sure we're on time, just to give you a hard time. Oh man, all right, dude. You doing okay? You feeling all right? You feeling nice and energetic and awake? Do I need to call Ryan?
Relatively energetic and awake, I suppose. Maybe not on my A game, but I'm at least on my B game today. So that's an improvement, right?
Yeah, dude. B game is almost as good as A game. We'll take it.
Yeah. I'm not on my A game very often anymore, so it's a rare thing.
Listen, most people can't tell the difference, so it's like, why expend that additional energy to have a slightly better game when no one cares? Don't do it.
All right.
All right, man. Let's get this show started. We got a lot to talk about.
Indeed.
This is PSVR GAMESCAST Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and 2 Wise Friday right here on YouTube. We do it live 6 p.m. Eastern for your viewing pleasure. But don't forget, we also care about your oral pleasure. That's why our good friend Rypop uploads this on podcast services of your choice. Podcast is doing pretty fucking good, not going to lie. Really happy to see that. People are like just tuning in and not being distracted by trailers running in the corner of the screen. Like just listening to us. I feel like it puts additional pressure on us to be good at this because they're just listening to our words. There's nothing to distract them with. My name is Brian Paul from this channel right here, PSVR without Parole, and the gentleman over here to my left, you're right, it's Wes Dillon from Virtual Strangers.
Well, way to put pressure on me, Brian. I never thought about that before, that we actually have to say meaningful things for the podcast listeners out there.
Yeah. There's not that many of them. Like, I don't want to put too much pressure on you. You know, like it's still a small percentage, but we do have to up our game because eventually, you know, the numbers will be bigger.
Yeah, and then, you know, we can't be too interesting anyway because they're probably driving or working or doing something important that if we distract them, then somebody could get hurt. So
it would be irresponsible for us to be good.
Yeah, exactly my point. We should remain mediocre for their sake and everyone around them.
Well, you heard it here first. We're going to be good and mediocre for you guys. Wes, what's you know, we're going to tackle some PSVR2 news today. Obviously, over on Virtual Strangers, you guys talk about much more than just PSVR2. Although, why would you? What's going on outside of the PSVR2 landscape these days?
Oh, I mean, well, over in the channel right now, we're on hiatus, getting ready for the 2023 show. And I mean, to be honest, there hasn't been a whole lot going on the other platforms other than, you know, Assassin's Creed. That was kind of the story last week. And I think we've got some stuff coming up this week. Like, I think Sniper Elite sequel drops in a day or two. So that'll be a big one when it drops.
What the fuck is going on with that? Just Quest, right?
Yeah, Just Quest. I'm sure it has everything to do with Meta ponying up the money to make it happen. Right?
Nah, I don't blame him though. I don't blame him. I definitely love it when Sony does it, so I do not blame him when Meta does it. You know, got to support your headset, man. Got to support your headset.
But I don't know, that's coming this week, and then next week everybody gets a treat with the Arizona Sunshine, assuming, of course, that it's good. But you know, all indication is that it will be, and that'll be a good one. And I'm sure we'll come back on and do a show for that one, we being Virtual Strangers, just because it's such a big release. We're going to be playing it, so why not talk about it, right?
You know who else likes a big release?
I do.
You're welcome. All right, man. Let's get this shit show started. Guys, don't forget, subscribe to Wes over Virtual Strangers and his friends VR Agnostic channel. Click the link in the description below. Also, While you're clicking the links, make sure you come join us over on Discord. That is where these conversations happen pretty much 24/7. Not with me. Today I was MIA, and yesterday I was kind of MIA as well. Dude, I know nobody cares about this at all. But today I was just like not feeling good, and so I laid in bed and was watching YouTube, and like, dude, I love watching other YouTubers because A, it makes me go, oh, Jesus, Brian, step up your game. Some of these guys are fucking incredible. But B, it's like some of them are just so good, man. It's like there's a YouTube channel out there. No matter what it is that you care about, there's a YouTube channel out there that will cater to you. And you know, I've always been fascinated by retro gaming, obviously, and retro games have never been more popular on YouTube. But there's also been a resurgence lately of these old companies like Atari and Television trying to create new products and, you know, be like, oh, we're going to capitalize on this craze. And so I watched a 4-hour documentary today while I wasn't feeling good from bed about the Intellivision Amico. You familiar with this thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, you say Amico, like AMICO?
Pretty sure that's what it is, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I remember the Amiga, which was kind of like a contemporary Amiga of the Commodore. Yeah. But no, I don't remember a different Intellivision. That's new to me. Although I can relate to your kind of retro gaming rabbit hole. There's so many like long ass documentaries on retro gaming consoles. It's incredible. I too indulge every now and then in that sort of thing.
Well, if you're interested, I believe his name's Snopes Game Room. He's got tons of followers on YouTube. It's not like this is some unknown channel. He's got a 4-hour documentary, basically detailing every single twist and turn of this thing. And you know, here we are. It's like 3 years after it was first announced, maybe even longer. The thing's still not out, but just, you know, interesting. Just kind of an interesting distraction. And as somebody who bought the Poly Mega 2 years ago, this is just like instills so much fear in me. Like I've been like, man, if I'd seen this documentary before I pre-ordered the Poly Mega, I probably wouldn't have done it. However, Poly Mega, for anybody out there who likes retro gaming like I do, the Poly Mega is claiming that they're shipping in December. Believe it when I see it.
Wow.
Yep.
So this Intellivision thing, this is a new console?
New console. That looks like it plays Flash games, dude. Like, I mean, it's like the hardware in it is so underpowered. The big selling point were these kind of cool looking controllers with like a screen on them, and that was like where you're interacting, and then like a dial on one side to kind of play on the original Intellivision controller designs. Yeah, all the games they ever showed were like severely underpowered, like games that you would expect to see, like, you know, 5 years ago on the on mobile, maybe 10 years ago on mobile. It's pretty rough.
The retro cash grab, like the Atari thing that came out a couple of years ago. Like that VCS thing, people said that. Yeah, the VCS. People said that thing would never actually ship, but eventually they did ship something.
Yep.
I'm not sure how many people were happy with it, but they did ship something. So
yeah, I mean,
there's that.
Even getting it shipped, like just getting it out the door, seems to be the biggest issue with these. So I saw somebody in the chat mention the ColecoVision Chameleon, which was another scam that never came out. Again, I guess I shouldn't call it a scam until I actually watch the entire thing and see how much they actually tried to make it work and whatever, like, or if it was a scam from the get-go. But yeah. It's good, just good times, man. I love retro gaming, and I love hearing about all these companies that like want to bring their consoles back from the dead. A lot of tips here. Let's start at the top. Mattster Game Catster with the $50 tip. $50, dude. What's up, Mattster Game Catster? Says Brian, Wes, Rody, Salvador, Mark. Glad to be back, my brothers and sisters. Heart monitor off, PSVR2 on. That is a great fucking tip. Mattster Game Caster, glad you're doing better. Suffered a major heart attack earlier in the year. Glad you're still doing okay, still with us. Take good care of yourself, bud. Gotta make it to the Game Cat meetup. Don't forget. Like, might be the last thing I do, but I'm gonna make sure I'm fucking there. Mark Smith with the level 2 membership says, thanks for the oral work you do, guys. I'll be changing diapers, then lawn work while listening. I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you too, Mark. Thank you for being here. John Savino with the $2 tip says, I left the dot out of 200. $2. Yeah. He started on time for $2, Wes.
There's a typo. I completely understand.
Super cool video, bro, with the $2 tip says OG hardware or bust. You know, dude, I don't know, man. As somebody who loves retro games, having all the retro consoles is just stupid. You got to jump through massive hoops to make these things look good on HD TVs, and it's just not fun. And so none of my old consoles are connected to anything. Anything pre like PS3 360 era just looks like garbage on an HD TV. So definitely looking forward to the Polymega when that thing shows up, if that thing shows up.
Don't they make like these converter boxes that take those old analog signals and kind of upscale them to make them look right on the flat panels?
Yeah, they do. They do. And
I need to get one of those.
Well,
I need to get one of those because my oldest son, he's into retro gaming. It's like his main hobby. He likes to collect that stuff, but he's playing it on a modern TV, and it always looks like garbage. So I probably should look into getting one of those.
Yeah, there's I picked up one years and years ago, called the Framemeister, and you have to get all these different SCART cables that connect to all different consoles. You end up just with so many different cables everywhere, and then you have to kind of customize it for each individual console, and it's just so much work. Since then, there's definitely been advancements, but it's still not cheap. I think it's still going to be a couple $100 at least for these upscalers. So,
well, probably better off just finding a good CRT and picking it up to retro game on.
I've done that too. When I had far less stuff in this apartment, I ended up picking up 2 Sony Trinitron, like 32-inch televisions. Like they were some high-end things. And dude, those do not look nearly as good as I remember them. Once you've been watching HD TV for too long, dude, oh man, they look so bad. You're like, oh, I don't remember CRTs looking this bad. And they are. They don't look very good. Anyway. Sorry, got Miles Dyer with the £2 in the chat. Sends some kind of cute little emoji. Thank you, Miles. Super cool video, bro. The $2 tip says CRT or bust. Maybe you've got better CRT televisions than I did, but man, I was getting, because I did get my CRTs like free off of Craigslist. They were like, these things are so goddamn heavy. Please, for the love of God, just come take them away. We just can't move them. So, all right. Well, from super retro to very, very current, I think it's time we check out what's new in the news of PSVR2. First and foremost, I saw somebody post today in our Discord that the Vertigo 2 trophies are live, which is a good sign. It means the game is closer than it's ever been. How excited are you for Vertigo 2? You told me before. Sorry, Wes. You told me before that like you stopped playing because when the PSVR 2 announcement came in, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And you know, my hope is that it would launch early enough in the year that I could start over and play through the whole thing before the 2023 show awards come through. But that's not going to be the case now. We're so close. I mean, maybe. I mean, we are off. I'm not doing shows anymore. I might find a couple of days where I can just fucking marathon my way through it. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see, obviously what it looks like in the OLED, how the new features like adaptive triggers and haptics got integrated into it, and eventually, to play as the other characters and see all the bonus content that's in there. Although you do have to finish the game to unlock that stuff, so I'm not quite there yet, even on the Steam version. But no, I'm pretty excited for it. I don't think that they would fake us out twice. That they've given us a release date now for the second time, so I think it's going to actually happen this time. And it's not very far. Was it like 2 weeks away now?
Something like that. I'm a little lost on the December release calendar. I'm just going to play shit as it shows up.
Right.
Not going to stress about it. Everyone will be happy to know that it has that there's 50 trophies. One, of course, being platinum, 3 gold, 4 silver, 42 bronze. So it seems like an excessive amount of bronze, but I don't really keep track of trophies as much as I used to. I don't know, I just feel like that there's like, usually more proportionate number of trophies here, like, maybe 15, 20 bronze, 10, 15 silver, something like that. It seems
It's going to be one of those things where they give you a trophy for everything. Like you made it through the start menu. Ding,
right.
trophy.
I mean, receive your first gun. Bing, bronze.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of story-based stuff. If you're not, if you're concerned about spoilers, the first 5 trophies listed here are, defeat the Ignisaur, defeat a Centaur, defeat a Sap Lord. I mean, it just seems like kill some enemies, kill the bosses,
Kill the enemies,
defeat the big fish. I mean, it's just, almost all of these trophies are defeat this, defeat that.
Those are the regular enemies, and I mean, most of them, they put up a challenge. I mean, the very, very earliest ones are easy to kill, like the stuff from the first level, the guys that have hands for heads, like those guys are pretty much shotgun fodder. But after you get past that first level, when you see the Ignisaurs and the saplings and all that, it'll take you a minute to kind of get a grip on how to fight them, because it is challenging. That's one of the reasons that the game's so good.
The Gravedigger trophy, die 50 times. I hate trophies like this because not that I think I'm going to be good enough to play this game without dying 50 times. But like, what if you do? You finish the game like you've only died like 10, 15 times or something. Like, I have to go purposefully kill myself 35 times. Kill 500 robots, kill 100 robots. Yeah, this is pretty typical stuff. I was actually looking through this to see if there was any. Unlock every entry in the encyclopedia. I feel like that's going to be a big one. That's a silver.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Take 20 photos. I don't know if I knew you could take photos in this game. You can. Trying not to learn too much about this, because I want to go in and like just have a good time and not be like, oh yeah, Wes told me about this. Oh yeah, I saw that in the trailer. Oh yeah, it's like people say this is a great game. I want to go in and kind of not know much about it.
Yeah, you can take photos. I'm kind of surprised that because it's integrated right into Steam VR the way that they have it set up in the original game. So it's nice to hear that that's working on PlayStation as well. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
In-game mechanism for you to take screenshots.
Living Legend with the Canadian $5 tip says, sup Game Cats, sup Living Legend. Anyone tried MClassic for upscaling retro consoles? That's not one I'm familiar with. The Retro Tank, I think, is the next one I'll be taking a look at if I need something more than the Polymega. Living Legend with Canadian $5 tip says, for anyone interested in retro gaming, get yourself a Raspberry Pi 4, overclock it, install Retropie, and you're off to the races. Yeah, you could always emulate. Yep. I've certainly gotten over my. I had concerns with emulation for a while. I was like, if I want to play a game, I'll just fucking get it. But now, if you look at the retro market, it's stupid expensive. Like, stupid expensive. Yeah.
I love it, though. I mean, I love the fact that there are game studios out there now that are making new retro games. Yeah. I absolutely love that. That you can go get new 8-bit games, new 16-bit games, 32-bit games. And a lot of them are like exclusive to trade shows. So they're a bit collectible if you're into that sort of thing. It's a thriving little kind of subgenre right now, and I'm glad that those people who are into that have something, and I'm glad that the people who make this sort of thing have a way to make a living. It's just cool.
Professor Lewis with the $5 tip says, this week's Sunday multiplayer will be a first-person shooter, but which one? Your votes will decide. Survey now available on the Discord. Every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, Professor Lilith runs a multiplayer meetup. Yeah, go vote. Go vote over there. Get on Discord. Go to the WPG Sunday multiplayer meetup channel and vote on which game that you want to play. Always a good time. Jamie out with the $2 tip says, got an Arcan Age ad. I rarely get I rarely get non-meta VR ads. Did you get an ad before this? I'm pretty sure I turned off monetization because people kept complaining that the second we started the show, they were already 30 seconds behind because an ad would play as soon as we started. I just turned them off because I just feel bad for people wanting to stay current with it.
Kind of crazy that they're already paying for advertisements on that. Like, it must be at least semi coming soon, right? If they're already putting ads out there for it.
You'd expect that. You'd expect that. Yeah, we should be hearing more about a
Yeah.
release date soon, though. I don't know. Still cool, though. Still cool.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Luke in the chat says, can we just get 90 hertz native? Well, you're going to be super happy about this Galaxy Kart information. Because the Galaxy Kart developers, VR Monkey, just submitted their next patch to Sony, which will include 3 new courses. Dude, they are pumping these things out. 3 new courses, and will upgrade the frame rate to 90 hertz native. This does something for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, man. Well, I mean that's courses as much or more so than the frame rate thing. You know, I think the game looks fine as it is. I'm sure having that 90 hertz smoothness in a fast-paced game like this will help the experience a lot. But in a game like this that's built on, you know, repetition and replayability, having a larger number and larger variety of courses is absolutely everything for a game like this. So the fact that they're putting them on so frequently now, that's a good sign, and it's good for anybody who likes this sort of game. So yeah, I think this is great news.
Yep. Biggest complaint I had at the launch of this, I mean, obviously there was a ton of bugs and stuff, and it sounds like they're squashing them left and right. This update should take care of even more of the multiplayer bugs you guys might have reported to them. Yeah, I mean, the 90 hertz was sort of like I don't know, just kind of like with this random suggestion I had for them. I said, listen, sorry, sirens on my end. I said, you know, if we're just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what you guys can actually make happen, it's a racing game. 90 hertz would be amazing. And the fact that they're like really listening to that extent is pretty cool. So I'm interested in seeing how it goes, because I can only imagine it'll increase the sense of speed and getting more tracks. Never a bad thing. I was nervous, man. I was nervous when they started pumping these tracks out and being like, man, are they just going to seem like really generic? Are they all going to kind of start looking the same? And they're doing a really good job. Like, they're making them themes. So like each one, you know, here's the carnival world, and then there's different tracks within this world. Here's the space world, and there's different tracks within this world. But they're making sure that they're different enough, and that's fantastic. I was really worried about that.
Yeah, they've been pretty good so far. I'm a fan. It was fun. I haven't spent a ton of time in there, but the time that I did spend, I enjoyed.
Serial Killer in the chat with a $10 donation says, I'm calling you out, Brian Paul. You are hereby challenged to a best of 5 races in Galaxy Kart. Loser needs to donate to Movember Foundation unless you hate charities. I'm free tomorrow if you are. I've been horrible this month. We always want to support charities whenever possible, and Serial Killer has been really adamant of kind of running this whole Movember charity foundation, and I've been horrible about supporting it. Over on our Discord, there's a link to the charity if you want to donate in the name of the GameCats. But also, yeah, there's definitely a Galaxy Kart championship that he's been sort of pushing, and man, I would love to do it. I would love to do it, but every day just seems to get less and less likely. My apologies, CK. Ooh, Adam Luke says Galaxy Kart Sunday multiplayer. I think that's always a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but on to a game that I'm sure more of you care about. Wes, did you hear that Breachers got delayed out of November? They'd sort of given us this nebulous November window for the PSVR2 launch. And then just recently, I believe it was yesterday, I woke up to the delay notification. Did you see this?
I saw it in your show rundown right before we went live. This is the beauty, Brian, of being on hiatus from Virtual Strangers. I don't see any of this stuff anymore. I'm just living my life, and stuff like this just flies right over my head. So, no, I'm not exactly surprised. It is the 29th of November after all. So
excellent point.
It's one of those things, you know, it's one of those things like either it's coming out tomorrow or it's not coming out this month.
Yeah. Well, it's not coming out tomorrow. Here's the image that they posted on Twitter. They said, due to PlayStation QA taking longer than anticipated, we won't make our November release as initially targeted. Unfortunately, this means a delay. We will announce a new launch time soon. Thanks for understanding. Sincerely, your friends, Triangle Factory.
Right.
They didn't write Sincerely or Your Friends.
This is something that we often see with first time PSVR developers. They underestimate how petty the Sony QA process can be. I'm sure that basically they're having some kind of an issue with localization where their word for breaching foam in Chinese has two meanings, and they want to change it off to something that's a little more clear and concise.
Yeah.
This is the sort of thing developers have to deal with all the time. And welcome to Sony, Triangle Factory.
Yeah, it's a really tough lesson to learn. You know, everybody thinks, oh, the game's running really well, and you know, I'm sure we're going to fly through this Sony QA process. And yet, some studios do seem to fly through the QA process. We saw Foglands launch in a very unoptimized state just a month or so ago. I believe this week. I have no idea if I'm going to cover it or not because I'm just can't. I don't know if I can do it. Suicide Guy VR Deluxe Edition or whatever the hell it's called, that launched, and holy crap, dude! Like I just talked to Miles before the show. He said it made him sick because that's how bad the frame rate in that game stutters. So really, really unfortunate. That this
it's unbelievable, man.
Right. So
you keep seeing. Yeah, you keep seeing these games getting struck down for one bullshit reason after another.
Right.
But somehow these terribly unoptimized games make it through no problem. It makes you wonder what they're doing over there, man.
Yeah. So I was in voice chat before the show, and I want to say Izzard suggested a plausible theory. When games like Suicide Guy VR fly under the radar and just, you know, get pushed out in the state that they're in, it's kind of like Sony just saying, we don't care. No one's going to buy your game. We don't care. And then, you know, for a game like Contractors, where like people will care, you know, a lot of people are probably going to buy it. They're like, well, no, this needs to be better. But I think what it comes down to more than anything else is like which tester on the QA team is testing your game, and how strict are they, and why aren't there better standards at Sony saying, like, to kind of keep everybody on the same page and make sure it's fair for everybody.
Yeah, make sure you can play multiplayer in multiplayer games and squad up successfully with your friends and not wait 45 minutes for a match.
Yeah,
these sorts of things.
Yeah. Firewall absolutely should have been delayed until now.
What? did I say something about Firewall? Whatever are you talking about?
Exactly.
No, it's weird, man. Is it at least Suicide Guy again now, or is it The Guy?
It's Suicide Guy again. Yeah.
Well, at least there's that.
They went through quite the little debacle with the name changes. So Suicide Guy VR and PSVR 1 when leading up to launch, and then I think they changed it to The Guy right on when it finally came out. And then there was word that the name was going to just be called Sleeping Guy. And I don't know if any versions ever came out called Sleeping Guy, but yeah, now it's back to Suicide Guy. I have no idea what's going on.
Well, that's good. That's good. At least they figured out how stupid all that was.
Yeah, I'd like to know the full story behind it. Like I don't know if that's them. You know, if somebody went to them, like it was, because I mean this thing's been on Nintendo Switch, it's been on all sorts of different platforms. Like, did somebody come to them and say, you cannot release your game on our platform with that title? Or if it was just something like that, or it was just something internal where they were like, hey, this will generate some fake publicity. You know, people always like a scandal.
Well, I mean, during that era, there was a lot of people being offended about everything, and companies taking big financial hits because of it during that couple of year period there. And it was likely something that they did internally to just kind of try to get out in front of that and try to save themselves a little bit of grief. And I think they just ended up making things worse. Doing it the way that they did it. But again, you know, all's well that ends well. They released their shitty game with the original name back on it. So right. Good on you, Suicide Guy.
There you go. Gives us a topic. Gives us a reason to talk about it, other than how terrible the game actually turned out on PSVR2. Just an absolute fucking disaster of a port, by the way. Do not buy it. No free upgrade. What a waste of time. Macho, the real estate procrastinating game, have a $2 tip says, speaking of FPS, here's hype for Contractors too. Well, luckily, it gives you a couple more weeks to save. I doubt this is going to take longer than December. I'm sure that they seem like they were so close to finishing up. I'm sure another pass or two is all they need with Sony. So hopefully we'll see Contractors in December.
Contractors or breachers?
Shit. Yeah, that's a thing. Dude. I should apologize. I got out of bed to do the show.
I was just wondering what his comment. I didn't read his comment. Was he commenting on Contractors or was he commenting on breachers?
He was commenting on Contractors, and I immediately read it as breachers. Yeah, Contractors obviously a very different game.
Have we gotten? Is that confirmed for PSVR2? The Contractor Showdown?
Yes. Yeah, I believe it was in their trailer. Contractor Showdown was their. It's a battle royale game, right?
Yeah. It's in alpha testing right now, and I'm hearing absolutely great things about it. Like I'm hearing that this game is already phenomenal, and it's exciting if it's coming to PSVR2 because Contractors, for my money, was kind of the best PCVR multiplayer shooter. Like it's better than Pavlov in my opinion. It's better than all of the other ones. Firewall is really the only competitive multiplayer shooter that I like more than Contractors. But the fact that they're doing this battle royale game now, I kind of questioned it, right? Because Population 1's out there, and Population 1's already so good and it's polished. I'm hearing that this is better, like notably better than Population 1 already in alpha, which is exciting. So yeah, it's a good thing to be hyped for, from what I'm hearing.
Nice. Glad to hear that. I'm a huge fan of battle royale games. The fact that I never played Pop 1 is embarrassing, because I love battle royales. But you know what? I guess I'm good with Fortnite until we get something on PSVR 2.
This one should be good, according to people.
According to people. Well, you know who I trust? People. You know who I don't trust? I don't trust Sony. Yesterday they put out this teaser, Wes, that caught everybody's attention, and it threw me off because they're using the old feel a new real? What the hell? What was the old tagline? I don't even know.
Yeah, I noticed that too, because I don't think that tagline was on this trailer when they first revealed it a couple of days ago. But I watched it again today, and I noticed it was on there. But yeah, I don't remember exactly which one of their 1,000 taglines it was, but it was one that they've recycled from one of their older trailers, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I downloaded this trailer immediately because from the PlayStation YouTube channel, because they took it off of Twitter very quickly after posting it, and I was like, oh shit, I got to download it from their YouTube channel before they like take it down. Like maybe this was something that wasn't supposed to be revealed yet. Sony's really bad at that kind of stuff, or really good at accidentally revealing stuff. And so I was like, I better rip this as fast as I can. And yeah, the title of the video is definitely still Feel a New Real, which is crazy. But what'd you think of this, man? Obviously there's a lot of discussions we can have about this, but did you think this was first and foremost a good promo piece for PSVR 2?
Yeah, I did, honestly. I think that one of the biggest challenges with for people like us and people like them who are trying to, promote VR to people who haven't tried VR is trying to get across this multi-sensory immersive experience in a 2D flat video. And showing gameplay footage just doesn't work most of the time. Showing flat gameplay footage, it doesn't come across. Like you watch it on the screen, it looks like a flat game, but it looks like a 10-year-old flat game. It doesn't even look like it's current, and people don't understand how different it is in the headset. So I think kind of moving to this hybrid, like live action style of trailer, while of course people are going to look at it and say, oh, of course the games aren't going to look like that. Right. I think it's a good depiction of how the games feel. So I wouldn't want to see every promo be like this, but I do think that this is an effective kind of portrayal of how it feels to be in a good VR game. So I do think it's good. I think it was a good promo.
Yeah, I agree. I was actually really surprised to see any negativity from it. Obviously, there's always going to be negativity from everything, so I shouldn't have been that surprised. But yeah, this is this looks like Sony put some money into this and really wanted to, as you said, demonstrate what it feels like to be in VR. And so I thought this was a pretty good piece. However, it obviously led to a lot of debates and a lot of conversations because it is very confusing. Is this just showing what it feels like to play VR and show the variety of types of games that you experience in VR, experience and show kind of like the VR interaction type things? Is just doing that, or is it actually depicting specific games? As it ends with clearly Call of the Mountain, that makes my. I think if it didn't end with Call of the Mountain and just ended in some like random jungle with random animals, I would have said, yeah, this is what it feels like to play VR games teaser. But the fact that it ends with Horizon makes me think that the first two are also games.
Yeah, I agree. That's when I got excited, because when I first watched it, I was like, yeah, this looks pretty cool. But yeah, you're right. It looks like they just made up some weird scenarios that you would see in a typical game, and kind of showing people what it feels like to be in them. But when I saw Horizon at the end, then I knew. Then I knew that this isn't just made up scenarios. These are games. Now let the speculation begin on what games are these. And this is great. This is all they need to do. Like, we've been talking for months about how Sony's not showing us anything. Mm-hmm. And some people say, well, we need games. We've got games. We need to know that games are coming. And that doesn't necessarily need to be a big time reveal. They just need to tease something. They need to give us something to be excited about. And something like this every now and then is enough. Because we can tell whatever these games are, they're going to be excellent. They're going to be amazing experiences. Yeah. And now we get to sit here and talk for 2 months about what these games might be. And it keeps people talking, and it keeps people excited about PSVR2. And yeah, I think it's great.
All You Art's History in the chat says, what if that's not Call of the Mountain? And it's in fact one of the other Horizon games in VR.
No.
I believe Guerrilla Games, and please correct me if I'm wrong out there in the chat, I believe Guerrilla Games made a statement about this and said, no, that's very much Call of the Mountain. We don't have any other Horizon games in the works. So I say we take the second part first, right? Because it may be the easiest one to answer. So if you kind of divide this trailer up, I mean, first of all, I think it's done really, really well. I've been calling it CGI. I've heard somebody say it's live action with like visual effects. And I don't really fucking care what it is. The fact is like they've basically seamlessly brought this character from world to world, and they do it in a really cool way. The first one's in a spaceship crashing down, and then suddenly the spaceship has crashed down into like this kind of like medieval area. They get out, they grab a torch, but there's still like the ground is still littered with all of these spaceship parts, right? And then they fall through the well, and then they end up in the world of Horizon. So I think it's very cool the way they did this. But if we do pick it apart and call these 3 separate games, then I want to start with the second one, because if we know what the third one is, we'll work backwards. And so my impression was that this is very medieval. And but I think a lot of other people were saying this is clearly Resident Evil 4. What are your thoughts on this?
The second one was really the hard one, and I'll be the first to admit I did not dissect this trailer yet. I've watched it 3 or 4 times. I didn't pause it and ponder it. I just watched it through like normal, and now here we are.
Well, don't you worry, Wes. I get this playing at 25% speed right now.
Nice. So yeah, the second one was the questionable one. Obviously, with the scenario, you got angry villagers running at you, and you're running from them. Yep. The first thing that came to mind was Resident Evil 4, because that's very much what's going on there. But I could be wrong, but I don't remember the vibe of like the environments and the people kind of matching up to what we see. I think Resident Evil 4 has a very distinct style, and you know it when you see it, and I didn't know it when I saw that. Like, right. It didn't come off like Resident Evil 4 to me. So you start to think, well, what else could this be that puts you in that scenario? And you start to think about things like Far Cry, You start to think about like Outcast or Outlast 2 was a little bit like that, where you had people coming after you. There's a handful of games that it could be. It's difficult to say which one it is. I would bet maybe a Far Cry game, because Ubisoft is so involved in VR. I think just based on that alone, that makes them a hands-on like favorite. So I don't know. It's certainly questionable, but if I had to guess, I would put Far Cry on it.
Yeah, it's really tough. Like when somebody said it's absolutely Resident Evil 4, I said, let me take another look at it. And under that perspective, and you start trying to get into the head of the person who made this. Right? You say, well, it could very easily not be a gamer. It could very easily be somebody like that's just this director saying, okay, here are the instructions we've been given, right? This kind of like old timey village with villagers running at you. They're angry, and I don't know, give the dude a torch. Like you got to wonder like just how close to the games that they're representing these images, these visuals have to be, and I think the answer is, maybe not that close, but yeah. I still think the safe bet is on Resident Evil 4. Although I do agree with everybody in the chat saying this doesn't look at all like RE4. This doesn't have the vibe of it. So,
yeah, a couple of good guesses though in the chat. I see a lot of people saying Behemoth. That is one that we saw from their last promo material. You will have people coming up against you, and that did have very much kind of a medieval feel to it as well. So that's a good guess. There was another one too. Let's see. I lost it. Somebody else had a good guess. Uncharted. Definitely. No, typically you don't have whole villages of people up against you in an Uncharted game. Yeah. But it's certainly not without like outside the scope of possibility, right? Because the setting and scenery kind of matches up to what an Uncharted game would be. So maybe it is an Uncharted game. I would love it if it were,
Yeah. I love the thought that it could be Behemoth, because we've never seen gameplay of that, and even the extended CGI trailer, we didn't see a ton of what the moment-to-moment gameplay would be like, what they were even trying to represent. So Behemoth, I really like the Behemoth idea, and that's not something that I thought of. Trying to see what else here. Underwater Slaw says Boneworks. I looked up the beginning of Bone Lab, and it was
this looks nothing like it looks nothing like Boneworks.
It's tough. There's a lot, man. There's a lot of good suggestions. But yeah, I don't know. Medieval Dynasty, I'm not familiar with it all. That's been on all the sizzle reels so far that I've put together for games that we know are coming to PSVR2. If this works for Medieval Dynasty, then I haven't seen gameplay that really matches this yet. But
Bloodborne, people are saying there's another good guess,
dude. People would lose their shit if this was Bloodborne. Absolutely, yeah. I would take that in a heartbeat. Yep. Macho's. Hold on a second. We got some tips here. Pietrek F with the 12 plantains says the tease game in the Sony trailer is Gunjack remake. The Gunjack remake, not like Eve Valkyrie. You're going with Eve Gunjack instead. That's cool. That's really strange, but I'll take it. Macho, the real estate procrastinating game cat with the $2 tip says Medieval Dynasty or Behemoth. Yeah, fantastic. These are great choices. I think we need to get to the first one. The first one has definitely piqued everyone's interest, and here I know I have that slowed down here too. Now listen, before we get too deep into this, I will say that if you guys saw the last whatever the last PlayStation VR2 promo was before this one, it started off with a Journey to Foundation piece that looked a lot like this, like a segment from Journey to Foundation. And then they constantly kind of showed these ships flying around. And I have not played enough Journey to Foundation to know whether this could actually be that. But the fact that nobody has really suggested that might be the case, is probably not the case. What do you think this is?
It has a different vibe than the inside the ship parts of Journey to Foundation for sure. My first and really only thought with it since I saw it was Returnal. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
The moment I saw it from the very beginning, I was like, oh, is this Returnal in a PSVR2 ad? And then when it lands on the ground and you start seeing the villagers come at you, you start to kind of, well, I guess not. But then you realize that by the end, what's happening, and they're jumping from game to game, and you're like, well, maybe that was Returnal. It definitely has the vibe of Returnal to me. When I look at it, that's what it feels like.
Right.
Of course, there are hundreds of these games that take place in these cockpits and the spaceships, so it could be anything. But given that this is Horizon, it's one of their flagship IPs in this commercial or trailer or promo, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. I would expect all of these to be big flagship IPs. And
so Farpoint 2.
And that kind of I doubt it's Farpoint 2. I would love for it to be Farpoint 2. One of the original things that drew me to Returnal and led me to play it even as a flat game was the Farpoint vibes that I got from the promo material. So that they are very similar in that way. But no, I 100% think if this is anything that we would be able to guess, it's Returnal. Like it looks like Returnal, it feels like Returnal. I hope it's Returnal.
Yeah, I've been watching everybody in the chat, and I really think it would be disappointing if this was obviously Journey to Foundation. I think it'd also be disappointing if this was No Man's Sky, right? Because I mean, this is not the kind of interactions you have in No Man's Sky. I mean, I don't know if putting on your seatbelt is an interaction you have in any game, but yeah, it just doesn't have that look about it to me. Although I'm not familiar with a lot of different ships in No Man's Sky, so I don't know. Awesome Tatum's putting out a pizza bet that it's Farpoint or Farpoint 2. I'll take a pizza bet.
I'd love it, man. I'd love to lose that bet.
Right? Oh my God. I would absolutely buy somebody a pizza right now if we got Farpoint 2.
Yeah. Farpoint remake, even, like a remake of the original. Redo it. I don't mean just the up-res port. I mean remake the original Farpoint. Make it about twice as long, redo all the levels, but keep the story similar. Like I'd be 1,000% down for that.
Yeah. The HUD looks so specific, and a lot of people are calling out the HUD in the chat. It looks very specific. It looks like they're trying to replicate the look of something, right? Like, I mean, if it was like Metroid Prime, you would absolutely like recognize that HUD in a heartbeat. But this is like this, and so yeah. So then you really have to say, well, how much liberty are these? Are the people making this commercial really taking? So it's tough. It's tough, but I definitely feel like these are 3 different games. Yep.
Yeah, I had that idea too. Maybe it's Spaceship Imposter VR Among game.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, we don't know what you're doing in that game. There could be more to it than meets the eye. Alejandro D. Catallergic Game Cat with the $2 tip says it's miles in space. It has the heart rate monitor. Perfect. Yeah. All right. Wes, I know it hasn't been a super long show, but I'm not feeling my best. So I hope everyone's cool if we move this along a little bit. You ready for a little 20 questions?
Sure, man. Let's go for it. I'm ready to lose.
Fantastic. I don't remember what the fucking game was that I picked out earlier. I actually picked one out before the show. Here we go. All right, everybody. You know how this works. I picked out a game. You guys in the chat and Wes have 60 questions. Yeah, that's how 20 questions works. You get 60
questions. All right, I'm down.
6 minutes and only 20 yes or no questions to figure out what game this is. And as we all know, Intruders, not a horror game. Desperately wanted to pick a horror game just to fuck with you this week. All right. On your mark, get Des, go.
Well, has this game been announced for or released on PlayStation VR2?
I will happily answer that question when I figure out where the hell the timer went.
Fair enough.
There it is. All right. It's been on PSVR2. The answer is no.
No, so not announced or released on PSVR2.
Correct.
All right. Okay,
Rough
good.
and
PSVR 1 exclusive. Is this game available on other platforms?
Yes.
Is this game playable flat?
Yes. Yes.
So multi-platform, playable flat, most likely a Steam VR game, possibly an Oculus game too. Every now and then we'll see one come to the Oculus Quest that is playable flat elsewhere. Have we mentioned this game today during the episode?
No.
No. Is it a puzzle game?
No. That's 5.
No. So it's not Tetris Effect. All right. So you said this game wasn't a horror game leading in, but I'm going to ask you, is this game a horror game?
Depends on your definition, Wes. No.
I see. So playable flat, probably a very likely a psychological thriller style game.
Clearly. What else could it
yeah.
be? Yeah.
So what playable flat? What could it be, guys? Help me out here. Well, Doom 3 is not technically, I mean, it's modded into the other platforms, but it's not technically available on those platforms. So it couldn't really be Doom 3. Transference, I mean, yeah, it could be Transference.
Not a horror game, you guys. I would not put these games in the horror. Yes, all these games that you're listing are horror games.
Okay, so you would consider Transference to be a horror game? Oh, yeah, yes. You said that. You said as much.
Yes.
Last time. All right, so let's get off this a little bit then.
It's far away from horror.
Immortal Legacy is not playable flat. Is Torn? I don't think so. Is it a strategy game?
No.
Is it first person?
Yeah.
It's first person. Full locomotion?
Yep.
Okay. Sport move controllers?
No.
Gamepad only.
Yes,
Gamepad only, first person, full locomotion, playable flat.
Yep.
On multiple platforms. We should be able to nail this, guys. What's enough info right there? Skyrim supports moves. Here They Lie's not on every platform. Minecraft. Green Hell. Yeah, I guess. Is this a survival game, Brian?
No.
No, it's not Green Hell. I mean, I wouldn't think a cockpit game. I wouldn't consider that full locomotion if you were playing in a cockpit game. Is it are you in vehicles in this game, Brian?
No.
No. So there you go.
It's a good question though. Is that full locomotion? Topic for another
yeah,
time.
Not RE7. It's not a horror game. What am I not thinking about here? This is clearly obvious, and I'm missing it.
I don't know if obvious is the word I'd use for this game.
If it's playable flat and on multi-platform, this should be obvious. Kona? I'm not sure if Kona's playable flat. Is the environment snowy in this game?
No.
No, it's not Kona. Is it Is it cartoony?
That is a very good question. I would say you may borderline. I say borderline. I'm not going to count that. I do think it's borderline.
So it's probably something along the lines of like a Sniper Elite or Assassin's Creed, where it's cartoony but not. No, Borderlands is definitely cartoony. Is this based on a known IP?
No.
No, so it's not any of those.
Not officially.
Is this game good?
Average, I'd say. At best.
Average. So it's not Hello Neighbor.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Brian. That would be interesting, Kramer. Is this a stealth game?
It's not, but I did think of throwing this right back at you.
Yeah.
Yep. I know you don't.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I would have got it.
I know you don't observe the timer, but the time is up, and you've got one question and one guess remaining. So let's do it.
Oh, fuck me, man! I don't know. I'm really stumped here. I'm just going to guess something that I know it's not. But is it Layers of Fear?
It is not Layers of Fear. It is.
Yeah, no, because that's a horror game.
Totally not based on Echo the Dolphin.
Oh,
Jupiter and Mars. That's right.
Yeah.
Tigertron. Yep. I wanted to like this game so much. Really like the vibe, but then the game itself, I was just kind of bored by the entire time.
It wasn't the best.
It wasn't the best. I'd love to see if these guys take another stab at a VR game, though, because I think they were onto something. Cartoony was. Are you with me? Cartoony was like maybe they would have made it more realistic if it wasn't more like a technical limitation. Why is
cartoony? I wouldn't call it cartoony. Like, it's certainly not super realistic either, but it doesn't seem like they were. It's not what I would consider a cartoony game, like Quest graphics cartoony.
Right.
Not cel shaded or anything like that. So no, it's not really a cartoony game.
A lot of people love this one. I was surprised how divisive it turned out to be.
Yeah, I'm like you. I wanted to like it, but it lacked in many ways. So.
Looper the Underground Game Cat in the chat, who keeps the records of all 20 questions, says first time this game was picked.
Wow, interesting.
All right, guys. So sorry for kind of cutting this short today and giving you a much shorter episode than usual, but I hear my bed calling. I'm like totally not with it.
We're having a rough time, guys. Brian is, I am. We're depressed. Things are not good. It's the holiday season. We're supposed to be happy, and we're not. But we love you, and we love that you love us, and we will continue on and see you soon.
Wes, this is the difference between us. You were like falling asleep and still persevered through a 7-hour stream. I'm like, I don't feel so good, and I'm like, we got to call this quits right away. Yeah.
Look, man, I wouldn't call that perseverance. I would call that not knowing when to quit. Like, I should not have shown up here on Saturday, and it was embarrassing that I did. But I'm glad that you haven't banned me forever from the channel for coming in that state.
I'm sure I'm not the only one.
I apologize to you.
No.
I apologize to the Game Cats for being kind of out of it. But I am glad that I did make it to see the end of a 7-hour live stream where I was out of it in minute 1.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, I think I speak for all the cats out there when I say, it was, you should nothing to be embarrassed about. You like the fact that you persevered and you made it through, and we're all very proud of you. Well,
thank you for saying that. It's very nice of you to say. But it's still, I'm no less embarrassed by it. So. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Shit happens, and shit especially happens on Without Parole. That said, thank you to everybody who who helps me out. I have no idea how to end the show because it's just like all gone right now. But thanks to all the mods out there who make my life better every day. Thanks to Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry, who hooks us up with timestamps for this thing. Rypop, who uploads this on podcast services of your choice. Everyone who supports us financially over on patreon.com/without games here by being a member and tipping during the show, of course. Thank you all very much for that. Keeps the channel alive. Thanks everybody who hangs out, shoots the shit, keeps us entertained while we try to keep you entertained. And everybody who sits back, watches the show, and doesn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much. Happy Wednesday, Wes.
Happy Wednesday, Brian. Get some rest, bro.
Let's go. Hey, standing with the game tagger with the $2 tip says, "What is Firesprite working on? Space horror?" It's a good question. The fact is like, we tried to sort of dissect what existing games these could be in the trailer, in the teaser. But, I think it's publicly known, I think because of job listings, that Firesprite is working on a AAA horror game. And I think we've all sort of been like, if it's not VR, we'd be shocked. But we don't know what kind of horror. It could be space horror.
Yeah, as much as I like space horror, it's not one of my favorite types. Like, I'm sure it would be great. I love the persistence, like Dead Space. All of that's great. I'd much rather be in a plopped in the middle of a village full of brainwashed cult people, or in a haunted mansion that has supernatural evil shit going on. That's more my jam. But I'll take space horror. I mean, that's better than Puzzle Bobble or whatever else they might put out.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Sony was like, "Hey, you did the persistence so well, like, let's lean more into that." Like let's blow that idea out of the water. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
Well, you know what? You know what? That type of game has kind of gone on to blow up since the persistence came out. It's a popular genre now in many ways. So I wouldn't mind seeing like another persistence that's full on with 6-off motion controls and twice as big, right, with more stuff.
But not roguelite though. Like, right, ditch the whole roguelite thing and just make it a full ass campaign.
I mean, it depends. It depends on how they do it. They could do both, right? They could make the maps procedural and still have like a story campaign to it. I don't know. Like Returnal's a great example of this. Like the maps change every time, but it is a story campaign that you have to play through. And the maps are so big that even though they're just taking the same like areas and reshuffling them, it's still, there's so many of them that it feels fresh. You recognize the maps even though the exact layout is different every time. So yeah, something like that I wouldn't be opposed to. But you're right, they are starting to run beat the roguelike thing into the ground a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, my hope is that these are games that we have not been announced, and there's no way we could possibly guess. We'll see.
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if it were Behemoth, because Behemoth we know is coming out at the end of next year, and if they're still going to be promoting Horizon during that time, like assuming that this was leaked and it came out early, like that tells me that they're going to still be like using Horizon to prop up the headset a year from now. Like that's a scary thought.
My hope is that they're just teasing something that's right around the corner. I know. I feel like we should just come back and put the cameras back on, because this is just, we should just reinsert this into the conversation we were having earlier. It doesn't matter how sick we are, we can't stop talking about this shit. Yeah, but I mean, like, but I feel like this could be a tease for something that's right around the corner. The whole trailer was short; it was like 30 seconds or something, and so it seems like maybe there's bigger announcements right around the corner, like whether it be the at the Game Awards or whether there's a showcase or something coming up. It's like we're going to finally find out what this is all about, type thing, right?
CES is at the beginning of January. They just sent me my invitation to the Sony presser today. So, maybe we'll see Jim Ryan hit the stage one last time and tell us about DLC coming to Beat Saber and Gran Turismo. Who knows?
Hell yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good. Do it one more time. All right, guys. Have a great night. We love you all.
Bye.